Hello again, Glitch Ripper here, back for another mob battle, and yeah, again, in the experimental snapshot with the Warden. After all, as soon as this guy was out, I totally had to do like a whole series of mob battles with it. That was basically just understood. But I'm going to do things kind of interesting, a little bit of testing with the different groups. In this case, I'm going to be doing it Nether themed. In the Nether, obviously, from the volcanic ash fallout, despite being on the top of a perfectly flat bedrock layer that is not quite perfect because there's mushrooms on top of it. So it's kind of apparent where I am. I've done this before for a lot of mob battles. It's just in this case, I'm doing it particularly appropriate for the mob at hand because it's one of those things that you could theoretically get anywhere if you wanted to set it up. Because if you had a Skulk Shrieker going around, and maybe a few little support blocks, you could totally make a warden spawning situation wherever you wanted. So you could throw this guy around if you wanted to use him like a giant weapon, especially if you knew to keep your distance and let darn this, especially if you wanted to keep your distance and let everything else set him off. But there are situations in the Nether that come up commonly, like having a swarm of piglins. Or zombie piglins, I should say, or ziglins. They used to just be zombie pigmen. So now things are happening. Thinking about 20 ought to make this really interesting. Because hey, we've all been swarmed by zombie piglins at some point. Or ziglins. You know, these guys, which they have renamed. Yeah, let's go with Ziglins. Ziglins just sounds catchier than zombified piglins, or even zombie pigmen, but let's say Ziglin works. Now, because of their swarming behavior, once he sets them off, there is going to be just an absolute rushdown. Now, sometimes when you one-shot one, they don't necessarily do the same thing, so we'll see. He's definitely gonna one-shot one. Oh yeah. He's going for it. Okay, I guess that, meant they were not, set off because of the one-shotting. Of course, he does count as undead, so maybe they won't fight the rest of the way. Oh, that poor chicken. And again, this guy could be used as a gold farm, now that I'm seeing how things are actually working. Just make a pit in the Nether with this guy in it, and let the gold pounding happen. It'll be a nice flat gold leaf by the time we're done. But hey. Slight gold joke. They just don't know how to respond to him. Oh no, I was just going with his natural aggression. Okay, so how about we go with instead a swarm of Zoglins, because they'll fight anything other than one of their own. So they're about as stupidly aggressive as the Warden, so let's go with that. Oh yeah, there'll be a swarm of them. And of course that happens too, but not gonna be quite perfect. About 20 of them. I mean, it's partially making up for the lack of the Ziglins joining in. We have Zoglins. Just going with a slightly different letter of the alphabet after the Z. And he took a beating. How much gold did we get from... Oh wait, that's right. They're just rotten flesh. Only these guys have gold. he ran into one. To make direct contact, he also goes for it. It did get experience with that one somehow. I don't remember hitting any of them. How did that one drop experience? And that would do. Did I miss something? Does the Warden drop experience when it makes when it makes a kill? Didn't happen that time. Why was there experience there? I did not hit any of them, and then there was experience. Is it probability based? I'm sciencing this out now. Partially because this is a Mob Battle Science routine. So yeah. I'm pretty sure I didn't punch one, and yet there was experience lying around. Easier than that guy. Maybe it was from smashing one of them and not the Zoglin. Could it be that maybe it's for zombie pigmen specifically? Or just certain types of mobs? He's getting upset. See, that one gave experience. That one gave experience. Excuse me? Will the rest of you give experience if he gets mad and takes you out? Possibly in one hit, because that's what he does. He's mad at least one of them. Okay, that one, I'm not sure if that one dropped experience or if he harvested it. I mean, Skulk harvests experience from slaying mobs, so is that his goal to do the same, is to knock the experience right out of them and then absorb it for the powerful Skulk? I don't have any Skulk around here right now for him to fuel, so that would be an interesting connection. He's thinking about it. I was just walking around, having no idea how sneaky you gotta be to get past this guy. No drops, no XP, no nothing on that one. He's getting suspicious of a certain direction. You gotta admit, this guy's aggro range, if he's in there, if they're detectable, it's pretty wide. Up. Okay. There, got some gold. The baby Ziglin is going to get it next in all likelihood. Unless that one over there distracts them, but I doubt it. Sometimes it's good to just go with their natural aggression. Up, but the chase is on. Knocked right out of the park. Okay, that whole situation is a bit different, but let's do something a bit different in a moment. I might get myself a new warden if this guy doesn't find that one in time. He might despawn first with that cool digging thing they do when they burrow in and just return to the earth. He seems to be calming down. He took quite an bit of abuse from all those Zoglins while I was testing out that whole experience drop theory, but I'm not sure. It could be random. It could be something. I'm not sure because I know I didn't hit them. He just left. Okay, so I can get myself a fresh one now, but I know I did not hit them, and there was experience being dropped. So what was going on with that? I'm not sure. Anyhow, I got a different thing I'd like to do because also there's the classic in a bastion situation. So now will they group up? Because they're also of their own faction, so will they group up? So I know certain Illager-related things will, like Ravagers. That was an interesting surprise. I enjoyed that last time. Apparently, if you have enough Ravagers, you can take down a Warden. It is a lot of Ravagers, though. Oh, that one's getting wonky. Now they're mad. Crossbow guy. Go for it. Oh, you got nailed. The brutes have some serious damage. They're grouping up on him. I mean, the brutes can deal a lot of damage. The crossbow guy's like, ah! He did get a shot off before he died, though. Are the rest just out of range now? Oh, I needed to make it a little bit more like a bastion, have some walls, determine borders here. Okay, maybe I can just add some more in here and there. Okay. Not quite as many because of the whole fact that I already kind of started it before the rest just wandered off, but this ought to be a good portion of the remaining map. I'm just representing for the Brotherhood of the Bling. A weird number of kids, though, that aren't really combatant is a little biasing for the numbers. I could fix that with more. He's cruising around. He's thinking about it. Getting more and more agitated. Oh, who's he gonna attack? Okay, that got the crowd going. It is good to stay team. I am very surprised, however, that the Ziglins did not team like they normally do. If he chases that one far enough, will the others figure it out? Yes. Like, wait a moment, I'm getting shot. Okay. Brutes from before are getting out. I think a Bastion Worth has been unleashed. And I think all the brutes I've had from before have been wiped out. Which is about how many you'd probably find in Bastion. Oh, double team with the crossbows. Unfortunately, that little guy just can't fight. Oh, you need at least your little butter knife there, buddy. I don't think you're gonna fare very well. Nope, did not fare very well at all. Okay, so this one is just showing things being a bit different. Otherwise, I'm going to clear out a bit of area and go with it. But a Bastion Worth approximately, piglins and zombie brutes was not enough to take down a warden. Nor was like whole swarms of ziglins and zoglins. So, yeah, it would take an unrealistic amount of them from the Nether to take this guy down. That said, there is the Wither, and this result may surprise you as to exactly how it works. So let me, I think I'm going to go for it now before he spawns. Because he's already been weakened, I just want to demonstrate how this works rather than go like the whole duration, because there's something about this that's incredibly biasing. I'd just like to point this out. The Warden can't hit the Wither. The Wither, however, can hit the Wither. Does it mostly randomly, because it's not really angry at the Warden because the Warden isn't technically hitting it. It like has immunity to the undead because it itself is like a super undead. It's like the undead boss. The big thing is it will eventually destroy the Warden because it'll keep lobbing those shots, and eventually it will hit the Warden periodically. And when it does, the Warden can, in fact, take withering damage in addition to explosive damage. Okay, now it's not being particularly lucky compared to the time I was actually testing this specifically. Some things I was going with immediately and just like, hey, while I'm in the moment, might as well try. Or really thought they'd work, like I really thought the Ziglins would team, but apparently they do not. Piglins, however, team. They know how to team. Now he's gotten a big shot. Note how he is taking damage from the withering effect, in addition to having taken damage. Now, the wither isn't actually agitated the way you think it is. Normally, it only flies when agitated, so you think it's agitated, but it's not. It's the fact that the Warden is so big, it's basically pushing the wither upward. And then it's making it harder for it to hit. But the fact is, the wither isn't really agitated towards anything in particular. It's just being pushed around sometimes by the Warden. Oh, come on. That was just so incredibly perpendicular. That shot was crazy. There's a Warden right here. I'm right here. If you want to randomly shoot towards the player's direction, then I'm right here. Come on. If you shoot at me to hit the Warden, it's just chasing it around and pushing it up at the same time. And might add, the Wither will also eventually upset the Warden just by lobbing around those explosive shots. Just in terms of all the explosions around itself. Like, it will eventually go through. But, for now, the main thing to note is, it's not invulnerable to the Wither's attack, even though the Wither is invulnerable to the Warden's attack. So, we have a pretty severe bias here. I don't know if they're going to change this in the future, where the Warden can be basically, how should I put this, made easy by wither bombing. I mean, it may sound a little extreme, but this is my kind of idea for taking down the humongous mob, is letting a wither handle it, and then taking down the wither after, when the dust settles. But this is absurdly biased. Like, if you were to have a good way to get these two in a small space, the wither would eventually win, regardless. In fact, right there, that didn't even fully directly hit. It just partially hit. And yet, the Warden has no ability to regenerate on its own. Now, there's the thing about if the skulk is still intact, it will generate more wardens over time, especially from all these vibrations from the explosions. But if the warden can't hit the wither, there's not much of a point in saying that can happen. He almost walked into that one. Like, face first, it almost walked into that blockbuster shot. Oh, that was a direct hit. That wasn't really towards me. But yeah, the warden is pushing around the wither. The wither's just gradually lobbing shots around. Just different angles while we're waiting for the warden to just be slowly degraded by the wither. And for that matter, withered away by the wither. I mean, the warden's attack is kind of interesting. Oh, nice shot. The warden's attack is kind of interesting. It kind of flails both arms together. And kind of goes down with his head at the same time, so it's like giving the enemy... Oh, and that one actually hit at the exact right spot to knock the warden upward. But, as I was saying, it looks like it's doing a pair of haymakers, or lariats, while it's somewhat inverted, while also trying to headbutt the enemy. Like it's hitting with all three attacks at once. But the way it does it, it does look interesting. Like, did you lose your arrow on the wither just to get mad at him again? Or sometimes the warden's behavior is just kind of funny. I mean, it's a terror unit, but a very goofy terror unit. Put it that way. I might add the withering effect by the wither itself lasts for a good period of time. So it's actually probably dealing the majority of its damage from times that it's hit well enough to wither the warden. Just say, this is something to keep in mind. Now, that warden was pre-weakened, and wait a moment. I thought it was supposed to be that I only got wither roses from non-undead creatures defeated by wither. And I'm pretty sure this experimental snapshot's still the same one that also declared that the warden was undead. Meaning weapons like this deal extra damage to the warden, because this is a Smite 5 Nether sword that I was using for clear-up ideas. So, note, this is without any kind of strength or anything, or armor, I'm just, being creative, just using it with a Smite 5 Netherite sword. But, the fact is, the Wither is supposed to be considered undead. Yes, it is. The Warden is supposed to be considered undead, and it just gave me a Wither Rose from defeating the Warden, despite the fact it's supposed to be only dropped from non-undead creatures that the Wither slays. So, I'm not entirely sure that was supposed to happen, but this is an experimental snapshot. Again, look at the upper part of the screen there. Experimental snapshot. So, yeah, that's definitely something I'd consider a bug. Yeah, and me being a bit of a glitchologist, I'd say that's probably the case, because Warden does in fact count as undead. It's indicated in more than one way. Like, whenever you deal bonus damage, you get a special effect. See? You're dealing bonus damage there. Because you're getting, like, the special enchantment bonus damage effect. So it's counting as undead, because this is a Smite 5 Netherite sword, as I was saying before. So it counts as undead. It gave me a Wither Rose, despite the fact that it should only happen when it defeats non-undead creatures. So, that's not exactly quite perfectly on point. Okay, so I'm going to prepare for my final run, just in advance here, and saying what I'm going to be doing next time. Unless, of course, I need a rematch with anything because of new traits of the Warden, which may again happen because experimental snapshots. But basically said, what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to do something that I kind of did some stuff in before. And you know, that's just too perfect. That's just too perfect. So I'm gonna have to go with this situation here. It oh yeah, that's right. Wrong version for the frogs. Okay. Okay, wrong experimental version of the game. I forgot that they came out on the Bedrock Edition first, in that particular beta, but I was gonna make myself some frog lights just because the magma cubes decided to invite themselves. But the bigger thing is, next up, I'm gonna be going into the end with the Warden, so it's gonna be kinda going home. In a way. Maybe. I mean, we're still not entirely sure if the skull connects with the end. So that's a maybe. But what I'm definitely going to do is go to the end with it. And I'm not doing that. What are you thinking? Anyhow, I'll be going to the end soon. And then I'll be resurrecting the dragon after I did like an experimental thing and had to defeat the dragon to go back. Uh, and unleashing the Warden in the end, so that's gonna be fun. And that's gonna be my next major mob battle with the Warden. Again, assuming there's not some crazy rematch required due to extreme changes in how the Warden behaves, but we'll see about that. For now, I'll be logging off as usual. So, hope to hear from you all later. Bye for now, everybody, and remember, there will be more mob battles.